Ohayou gozaimasu. I'm Crazed.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Donut.
And welcome to
We
Be
Simpin' Special episode.
Special episode. Little special treat.
This is very special.
Tasty
And
little
if you're hearing, Migi's not here.
Yes. We didn't get to watch the movie yet.
So if you guys are already clicking on the podcast, you're already,
You already know this is the Demon Slayer episode.
Yes, we all watched Infinity Castle. Not Lucy though.
Yeah, she's mad about it.
This is the start of the finale to Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
So before we dive into Infinity Castle, the movie, I thought we can kind of introduce, our experiences with Demon Slayer a little bit. Because obviously this came out in 2019, at least the anime. The manga's was running for a lot longer than that and has been wrapped up already at this point, so you can already read all of that. But with the anime, that's kind of where our foot is in the door with what this cultural zeitgeist is. This is kind of like one of those anime shows that kind of became popular, like Attack on Titan.
Took the world by storm.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is everywhere.
It really blew up, kind of became a cultural icon.
Yeah.
There's been some rocky roads up to this point.
You heard my fill earlier this year.
But I think it's been mostly good and amazing in quality. So
Been mostly consistent with just a dip in the last season.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But how about we throw it to Donut, since he's our special guest. Last time you've been on here was JoJo, our JoJo episode. Talk about Demon Slayer. What was your first experience with it? Why'd you get into it?
My first experience, I was recommended it by a friend, and I decided to check it out, and I think I binged all that was out at that point, which was just the first half of the first season. And I thought it was so good that I fully expected you guys to have already started watching it, and I believe I was the one who recommended it to you and got you guys to check it out.
I believe so. I think, it was around the same time, if not later, soon after. I remember us kind of just binging through all of season 1 to get ready for, because Mugen Train at that point was announced and set up as the next, thing. So we were kind of catching up at that point.
See, I remember watching it possibly during COVID. I don't remember. I think you were home more.
Mm-hmm.
And we just watched the whole first season, and we were like, "Oh my god, it's beautiful!
It's so good."
The animation is what specifically stood out to me. And I really enjoyed all the flashy animations for the fight scenes. It's just still to this day one of the most gorgeous animes I've seen.
Yeah, it's by Studio Unfotable, which has done previous work before this was the Fate Stay series, which that looks already jaw-droppingly beautiful as well. So you can see they put a lot of love and care into other franchises as well, but Demon Slayer is just on a whole other level of just quality I've seen. And again, they haven't really gotten, story-wise, bumpy road, but quality with the animation has just been fantastic and superb all across the board.
Would you call it a bumpy road, or did you just call it a speed bump?
Maybe a speed bump.
Yeah.
So,
they had one speed bump in there, which prevented this from being the most flawless anime ever created.
We can get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I would like to talk about our favorite arcs in the series up to this point. Obviously, we can't. It might be subject to change, especially when we get to the finale in a couple of years. But I wanted to kind of dive into 2 segments here before we begin. Who is our favorite Demon Slayer? Who we simping for on our favorite Demon Slayer? Well, mine is Rengoku. And I think I already know yours.
Oh yeah, it's Mitsuri.
Mitsuri?
I love Mitsuri.
Yeah, I love those. The Hashira are just so great in the show. And I know they they're sort of not the main characters. I mean, the main characters is Nezuko, it's Inosuke, it's Zenitsu, and Tanjiro, but I love expanding upon the Demon Core and getting into like these top tier slayers, and they all have these different breathing techniques, and just Rengoku's just one of my favorites of all time. So
It's probably a really basic take, but it's hard for me for straight up favorite Demon Slayer. I just something about Tanjiro I really like, but I think Inosuke is a close second there. But if you were to ask me my favorite Hashira, it would be Tengen.
Tengen,
Oh, heck yeah.
the wind is it he's the sound Hashira because the wind is the
He's the really angry
he's the
one.
angry one with all scars on his face.
Seems
I'm trying
like
to remember
he's
his name.
roided up at all times.
I love Mitsuri because she's like for one so bubbly and sweet. Her sword is really cool.
Yeah, it's like all floppy
Yeah.
and stuff. It's kind of like I always think of like ballet
It's
with
like
like the
a
little string,
ribbon.
yeah, like the ribbon
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I think that's really cool to
It's-
see.
Her style of fighting is very beautiful. I love that she could just eat and eat and eat. And
She has a good metabolism, but it just goes to her boobs probably.
and I just love how much she wants to love somebody and be loved back. I think it's very, very charming.
Yeah, I really like seeing her flashbacks in the Swordsmith Village arc,
Yeah.
and like how she was always courted, or trying to
She
be
was-
courted by a bunch of people.
She was seen as weird, so she
Yeah.
made herself who she wasn't.
I like that. Didn't they even explain why her hair's pink? Like, because she ate a bunch of.
Like Sakura Mochi.
Yeah, it's like that's funny.
I think.
He ate so much that now it embodies her.
Yes. Because she's the sweetest Sakura Mochi.
I like seeing the green too, like
Mhm.
at the end of her, like her pigtails.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call that hairstyle, but
It's like
Really
a ombre effect or something.
yeah, I want to bleed into our favorite demons now. Who are we simping for as a demon? Because there's obviously many demons throughout the show that have, from the beginning that die also, because they're fighting them. But there's really cool backstories with most of these demons that have some tragic backstories, make you feel more sympathetic towards them by the end.
I love that, like, you get to learn about all these people who became demons, and you could see, like, their decisions in becoming what they became. Whether you like them or not, it's just strictly based on their character.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely now thinking that Akaza is probably my favorite.
It might help that they had the most time to flesh out his backstory.
Oh, yeah.
He had a good, fifth of the movie, I feel like, himself, just with his backstory.
Right?
I will say I still don't forgive Akaza for killing Rengoku, but I felt it. I felt some emotion.
I don't think the
instead of-
point of seeing these things is to forgive them for their wrongdoings.
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
think
like, they've
it's
been
to
killing.
understand why they chose the route they did.
Mhm.
To understand how they got to that point.
Yeah.
'Cause at that point, all his memories were gone. He wasn't even himself anymore.
The only thing he remembered was that he wanted more power. Spoiler! Spoiler.
I really like the twins from Entertainment District. That's Daki and Gyotaro.
Mhm.
I really like their backstory and how different lives they lived because of how Gyotaro looked and how disgusting he looked, but like how pretty his sister was and how he was trying to keep that. Because I'm a twin, because I kind of feel the relationship that I have with my sister, because I'm the oldest of six, but I'm also a fraternal twin with somebody, so I kind of feel that,
That's
so
awesome.
I don't know, I feel like I related more to those characters, so
That makes sense.
yeah, that would be who I'm simping for. The twins. I know we only said one, but I think they are a collective.
They're a package
really.
deal.
They are, yeah. You
No.
can't go with one without the other.
Simping is a whole nother story.
You're right. If we're going like straight up simping, I'd have to think about that. But I do want to mention I do really like Doma as well. For some
Who
reason.
they briefly mentioned,
Yeah.
briefly have shown,
They briefly
by
have
the,
shown.
in Infinity Castle. But
I'm
so.
looking forward to seeing more on him. He seems very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, he's the upper 2 demon, and I'm really interested to see upper 1. I don't know who that guy's name is at the moment on top of my head, but upper 1 looks really cool. So those are our demons, right? You guys like those choices?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we
I'm the
waiting
twins.
to reach on spoilers and explaining more about why we like?
Yeah, I figured you guys really kept close to Akaza, so we can bleed into that because obviously this will be part of the review for Infinity Castle. So before we get into spoilers, obviously we watched the movie. We got to see it in IMAX yesterday at the time of this recording. Got to see it dubbed, which is kind of your first experience with the dub, right?
Yeah, I've been watching with subtitles the whole time.
How was
So what
it?
did you think of the dub voices?
I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty good. I think the one voice which we didn't see too much of him that I didn't care for so much was Inosuke. I feel like he sounds like so much of a goober in the English dub.
So that's voiced by Bryce Papenbrook.
I know who it is, and I've been a fan of most of his work, but I don't know how I feel about the Inosuke voice personally.
I love Bryce Papenbrook as Inosuke. He does get a little bit silly.
I feel like it's perfect because he's always wearing that boar mask, and I feel like you get a bit of that boorishness in his voice.
Well, because he grew up with boars.
Oh yeah, to me it made perfect sense to his voice, but I could see it you coming from the sub and just diving right into the dub with us.
That's probably another part of it is I have the voices in my head of how everyone should sound like.
Yeah.
I'm coming in and it's completely different. I liked I felt like his Japanese voice actor had a boorishness to him in a more rough and tumble way. I am a big fan of Inosuke's voice in
the sub.
In the sub, he just sounds boorish as you described, buddy, in a very rough kind of gravelly kind of way, and he sounds like he's just what's the word? He loves seeing who's stronger and making sure it's him every time, and he's not the most well learned is the same in the dub, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So it's fun when seeing him learn things or not understand something and get distracted by it for a bit. It's just a more kind of brutish way, I think, rather than just silly guy from the mountains.
There was some seriousness with Inosuke, and it's really cool when you see it with Bryce pulling it off.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see the full range of his emotion in the dub either. They mainly flashed Inosuke for some silly bits in this movie. They never really had him do anything serious, so that'll probably be next movie.
Yeah. So I guess I want to transition before we get into spoilers. What did we all think of Infinity Castle? General thoughts. Obviously, we probably already said a couple things, but just general wise, how'd you guys like the movie?
I loved it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan personally. I really enjoyed it.
I really feel like it made up for the last season.
That's what I feel like the last season was only to do, is to just set up this movie.
I feel like last season would have been great as an hour and a half long movie. We would have gotten everything we needed in that without all the paper airplanes and the long walks.
So we're talking about the Hashira training arc, which is the last season before this movie.
That one definitely could have been a movie instead of 8 episodes.
Yeah. Did I still enjoy it? Yes, but I'm first off easy to please, I feel like, and second, I just had a nice time doing it. I sat there, had some alone time, just binged it all in one sitting in an afternoon. But my only problem is that they do drag things out more than they need to, and they added some stuff, which was my primary praise for this whole series, was that they
No filler.
didn't have any filler. They managed to wedge it in here where I feel like they didn't need to. I would have been just fine with like a 4-episode miniseries where they just quickly knocked out everything they wanted to cover in this Hashira training arc. But I don't think they needed to stretch it to 8 episodes and fit in stuff they didn't need that ultimately brought no substance.
So I did some digging on Hashira training arc before this podcast, and I'm like, apparently that section arc is only 6 chapters long.
Mm-hmm.
And they stretched it out to 8 episodes.
Which I don't...
2 of them being hour-long episodes.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I can't believe they stretched that out. And I don't know if it was because Invincible was like, well, we got these movies that we're making, and we have to stretch this season out. We can't just do 4. We have to do 8. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what executive decision that was. But
whose idea was it to give them more work in order to buy time for the movies?
I don't know. That's just my theory that they were trying to stretch out, like, because Demon Slayer is so popular.
They wanted to make more money off it.
That's the excuse I could believe, is that they wanted more money from this hot product at the time, and so they just squeezed out whatever little garbage with way too much pulp in the cup.
Yeah, too much pulp. Oh my goodness. So I mean, that was the speed bump that is Hashira training arc, and you know, to prepare for the movie for us, we watched the last episode the night before. We watched the movie, and I'm like, oh man, this season is almost redeemed by the finale episode, just because it sets up Infinity Castle perfectly. Then I'm like, it almost does. If you guys didn't do that stupid paper airplane scene.
I think it is still worth watching if you have free time. And if you see them whip out paper airplanes, you can just fast forward through pretty much the rest of that episode.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the last 5-10 minutes of that episode.
With Tokito's side of it.
It's still some stuff that you might want to know leading up to that point. Mm-hmm. But then you're like, oh, Tokito's hobby is paper airplanes. Let's spend the rest of the episode talking about that. And then there's literally 30 seconds at the very end before he goes to Mitsuri.
And then they give her 30 more seconds.
And then they give her another 40 seconds or something at the beginning of the next episode.
And then he goes to Open Eye.
And then there he is. He's suddenly going under a waterfall with his friends who have also reached the training already.
Yeah. Like you said, Dona, it's just more Demon Slayer. It's the weakest of the seasons, but it's just more Demon Slayer. It's not the best Demon Slayer, but it's still Demon Slayer. But and then what did you think of the movie? Because I know we kind of bled away from that for a moment, but
I was in agreement that I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very strong entry. The action was great. The backstories were long, but I feel like they really let you understand the character behind the demons they do show off.
What did you think of the movie, Craig?
The movie was fantastic. I really loved. I was a little irritated by flashbacks, how much they did, but I'm like, I think us talking about it off air as we were walking out of the theater, I'm like, you're right. They do this all the time. They do this everyone. They do this in every season where they just do a little bit of a flashback of Tanjiro's backstory before his dad died, or a scene that he had a conversation with Inosuke, or you just see the demon side of things, which I really like. The demon side of things, it's great. Yeah. But let's get into the spoilers of Demon Slayer, because we're gonna of Infinity Castle. We're gonna talk about the spoilers and what our favorite fights were, about the fights. Like I said, there's 3 big ones. They kind of flip-flop around on a couple of them, but I want to just focus on one at a time.
First, I do like how they did flip-flop around, because it just shows, it makes it feel like everybody's doing something at the same time.
I agree. I like that, where it shows oh, Zenitsu's fighting. Tanjiro's fighting, Giyu's fighting, Shinobu's fighting. You're seeing all these fights with everybody. It's all simultaneously, and then they do jump to other demon slayers and another Hashira, of what they're doing at the same time too. So there's like a lot of back and forth with a bunch of people because everyone's in one area doing something.
Yeah, I like that they swap between all the characters,
Mm-hmm.
showing that all this is going down pretty much at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like that they don't leave you hanging, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That the only fight they leave you hanging on is the one that I feel like they're leading up to for the next movie.
The Doma fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because-
I'm looking forward to that.
Because that's the only one where I felt like they left us hanging, but I was also like, that's because that's going to be one of the big fights for the
Mhm.
next one. We already saw the first big fight with Shinobu versus him.
Mhm.
But I also like that once a fight really gets into the swing of things, they don't take
Mhm.
you out of the action to go see what the others are doing. You
Mhm.
stick with that fight till it's done, and then it bounces between characters again before the next fight starts.
I think they did a good job of that,
Yeah.
making you not feel whiplashed with those fights. So let's get into the first fight, Shinobu versus Doma. This is probably the shortest fight of the entire movie, but it kind of, like you said, sets up what essentially will be into the second movie. Is Shinobu, who is the flower Hashira?
No,
or
she's
insect?
the insect. Right?
Insect.
I think so.
Hashira.
She's the insect Hashira. Big spoiler, she dies from this fight.
Mhm.
She obviously has a grudge against Doma because
He
her
killed
big,
her sister.
yeah, her big sister, and she really wants revenge. And it was really cool seeing this fight. Like, his ice powers were so interesting. I didn't think he'd be ice. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But from the way he looks, I'm like, I wouldn't peg him as an ice, demon or some sort. I don't know. He was doing like these ice lotuses on the floor and stuff, and
He was surrounded by water for
Mhm.
one
What-
thing.
oh,
And
I did not
his
clock that.
fan, I felt like because he has fans as his weapons, you use fans to cool yourself down. The ice made sense to me.
That makes sense.
and they showed a little bit of his flashbacks of like how he was praised or like worshipped as like this god because of his hair and his eyes because it's
Because
all
of his
rainbow.
appearance.
Yeah, and his parents were like,
So
just-
therefore, he's always been the special
Mhm.
being.
But they didn't get too deep into his backstory. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, hopefully in this next movie.
Me too.
They only gave us a little appetizer.
very
Yeah.
brief. I really he has like this really interesting philosophy where he's like he only eats women and
Mhm.
only women.
You will
So-
see that with a bunch of like different monsters just in general in our mythology,
Mhm.
because that thing, the fairer sex, they obviously taste better.
And he's
Yeah.
like
He has his tastes.
Yes.
and along with this taste, he has like this philosophy. He's like, I'm bringing you happiness by consuming you or
Because
something.
now they
like-
no longer have to feel the pain of living.
Yeah, he has like this sympathetic kind of side to him where he's like, "Oh, I'll put you out of your misery.
That's
It's okay."
one of the reasons why I like him so much.
Mhm.
is because he's so warped.
His, yes, his perception is so warped. He still sees all of this as him doing a great kindness as he's
Yeah.
doing these awful, horrible things.
Right?
And then we saw Shinobu was fighting him, and she was using all her poisons against him, but it was kind of being neutralized as she was stabbing him.
He really enjoyed that,
And
didn't
he
he?
was like, "Oh yeah, give it to me more. I want to see what you got." And he's like,
You're
"I'm not gonna
doing
let you."
so good.
He was
Like, he was
great at like praising his opponents.
Yeah,
you know?
which definitely felt like insulting to
Mhm.
whoever he's fighting. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Like,
but
he-
I'm sure he felt like it was
He
the
felt like
opposite,
he was being so gracious and like,
right?
you're doing such a good job. Like, you're doing
Yeah.
great. And meanwhile, it's just pissing her off more and more. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, poor Shinobu. I really feel like she got the short end of the stick. Like,
I think this is the catalyst of like what other fights we're gonna see, and other Hashira probably can die.
I
this was the start of
absolutely
it, you know?
expect more Hashira to die. I just feel like Shinobu should have got more of a chance to shine. We got to see some badass moves that amounted to nothing.
I'm really hoping, and this is just my assumption. I have not read the manga. Obviously, we're all going into this series as just anime enthusiasts. and only sticking to the anime at this point. I would love to read the manga
Oh,
afterward.
I would too.
Maybe after it's all done, just to kind of appreciate it even
Like,
more.
I would probably even read it like now.
I'm tempted. I'm very tempted because I want to see what happens next. But I'm like,
It depends on when they announce and how long until the next movie for me.
That might
Because-
determine
yeah.
me too.
If it's sometime next year or even very early year after, I can probably wait. But if like all of this next year passes and they don't have a release date, I might be like, maybe I should try reading this.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll get into the next fight, which sounds like your guys' favorite, possibly, and that is Zenitsu versus Kaigaku.
I
Which-
thought you said that was your favorite as well.
I think I really like the Akaza fight by the end.
I really loved all three fights.
They're
I
great.
think this one was the most satisfying.
Yeah.
Very
Because-
satisfying and
because-
very emotional too.
Because Zenitsu has always been the annoying character that I really couldn't stand. He was like the low point of the series until the paper airplanes for me. And I thought it was a damn shame that he could only be cool and do something efficient if he was unconscious.
And that's not the case
It's,
anymore.
it's a cool concept that his body is so ingrained with his swordsmanship that he is trained so hard to master
Mm-hmm.
that he can do it while he's asleep. But it was so annoying to me that he would whine and cry so much until he passes out from fear or gets knocked out or something, and then he would do cool shit when he's not even present. And I'm glad that that's no longer the case and that he's actually locked in.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was more of a build-up, but I guess with a character like that, he needed something to knock him straight into it, to
And
shock
that is-
him into being who he needed to be.
And that's what we were kind of alluding to before we got into spoilers, was Kaigaku, who is a second successor to Thunder Breathing, or another successor, becomes a demon. And that's something that I still agree. I really wish I think even in season 1 they briefly hint at him, but I don't think that I have to rewatch the season again.
I
because
wish they would have planted more seeds
Yeah.
for that.
because I know they definitely show his master, the
Yes.
master of Thunder Breathing.
You see
training
him before in a Zenitsu flashback.
So I like that, and I like that is the catalyst for him to, like you said, lock in and like get serious and like, okay, I have to honor my master, who, spoiler alert, he committed seppuku, by himself because one of his successors became a demon, and he just felt so much shame that he just offed himself. And so I was like, God damn, that hits hard, because and then he wants to, avenge his master for one, his successor disowning that that mantle of becoming the next one of the Thunder Breathing successors. And because the twist, well, not really a twist, but like Kaigaku can only do every form except the first one, and Zenitsu can only do the first form, which is the basics of Thunder Breathing, is what I'm understanding.
It's the fundamentals.
Yeah, the fundamentals of Thunder Breathing. So I liked that they both were successors, because they can
Together they have mastered thunder breathing.
I like that. I think that's
When
kinda
apart, neither of them could fully master it.
Cool. What did you think about it, Witcher? That whole fight?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. To me, it felt like the shortest fight.
It was the shortest one,
Yeah.
which, when they're both lightning fast, I feel like had to be the case.
Yeah.
It would end with one decisive final blow.
I felt like it was very fitting based on what you just said.
And
Can we talk about obviously, because we're in spoilers, his seventh form? Can we talk about that?
he invented the seventh form on his own time. And he intended it to, like, prove himself and fight alongside Gakaiku is his name, right?
Gaikaku.
Gaikaku.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm probably butchering the names, by the way. Gaikaku, yeah.
Gaikaku.
I'm assuming that's how you would say his name, but
And it was ultimately the move he used to defeat him.
yeah, and I love that he said he's had this move forever, or at least for a long
He-
time, and he's never used it until now.
Yes, he was saving it. I feel like to finally earn his respect as a equal. And I don't even think he got that at the end.
No, yeah, because Kaigaku was like
he
kinda
was like such a bitch.
He was bitter.
He was bitter and he
Mhm.
was irredeemable. I feel like he couldn't even respect Zenitsu at the end when he defeated him. He was just like, of course you were the favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, of course he taught you this seventh one. He's like, no, I taught it. I learned it
Made it
myself.
myself.
You know, I made it myself for you. And I was like, oh man, I love that. Like I did it for you, and he just doesn't still listen to that.
Yeah,
He doesn't accept it.
Still doesn't acknowledge it.
And he dies this pitiful demon
Mhm.
who just won't. He has this huge ego, you know.
Mhm.
And I love, and obviously during the fight, you know, Kaigaku got some licks into Zenitsu, cracking his whole body, which was kind of cool to see, just all these cracks in him. But like, man, it was really
His demon blood art was making wounds that spread kind of like lightning.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, but also did a lot of damage to Zenitsu by the end. So he's kind of
I'm sure
unconscious at the
he'll
end,
be recovered by like the third movie.
probably, because he's probably gonna have to help fight
I loved
later.
how Gaikaku, whatever his name is, thought he was gonna be dragging Zenitsu down to hell with him, and then just to have Zenitsu saved by another demon.
Toshiro, right?
Yeah, Toshiro. Yeah, I loved. But can we talk about that? The Toshiro showing up. Because I'm like, it makes sense because obviously the doctor, Tamayo, I think is her name, Tamayo, is also like, to set up Infinity Castle, she ambushed Muzan and put like the drug that would turn him back into a human inside his body as they went into the Infinity Castle. So I was like, holy crap. It makes sense that he would be in there. And I love that he was all dressed up in Demon Core outfit. Just because he's like, he can't tell the other people that he's a demon.
He has to blend in because otherwise, in this slaughter of demons, he would just get chopped up amongst all the others.
So to wrap up Zenitsu's arc, I really liked how he gets unconscious after he gets saved. But then you see like this dream sequence where he's, you know, between this river with his master on the other side and him kind of stuck in between, which was really cool. These are red lotuses. I noticed that he was stuck in. Spider lily, sorry. Spider lily lotuses or whatever.
He's got lotus on the mind still.
So it was just cool that those were the things that he was stuck to.
Yeah.
So that was so interesting. But, you know, he was like talking to his master and he's like, hey, say something, you know, I'm sorry, I'm such a pathetic, you know, person. I'm sorry we were fighting, you know, me and Kaku and stuff. And then I got teary-eyed by the master saying, you're my pride and joy.
Yeah, I heard other people crying. One person at least sobbing in the movie theater at that point.
I did not hear that. Wow.
It was really good. I was like, I wish I had tissue because I was getting really teary-eyed because just that scene alone. But, I do want to get into our thoughts on how the series is going to wrap up and stuff, you know, at the end of this. But I wanted to go back to what essentially is the biggest fight of the entire movie. Is Giyu with Tanjiro versus Akaza. Akaza was the upper three demon who killed Rengoku in Mugen Train. So there's a little bit of disdain there, especially with Tanjiro when he shows up for the first time, crashing down in the Infinity Castle, just getting to him. I thought that was so cool.
Like, you know it's bad when Tanjiro hates your guts.
And then even him just screaming his
name. He's such a
name.
wholesome, honorable guy. And when he is actually like, oh, I need to kill this motherfucker. That's when you're like, man, this is a bad guy.
I like that with Tanjiro. He's very like, he can be sympathetic, but like
he's
ruthless.
Usually very sympathetic towards demons. So when you don't even find a shred of sympathy for a majority of it, you know Tanjiro's like,
you see that when he's,
you know you fucked up.
You see that when he's falling in the Infinity Castle, screaming to Muzan, being like, I will defeat you.
Muzan and Akaza are the only two demons that I feel like Tanjiro has shown actual animosity towards.
Mm-hmm. So, just general thoughts. What do you guys think of that whole fight? I mean, this is the biggest fight in the entire movie. I mean, this is like over an hour plus long.
It was a very long fight. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was beautifully done. It was awesome seeing all of the fruits of their labor with the Hashira training arc coming to fruition. With Giyu acknowledging that Tanjiro is on the level of a Hashira now.
I love that. Seeing his fire breathing. Well, immediately when Akaza shows up and it's just like he's dodging his attacks. He's attacking him. It was really cool. He was fast.
It was
Tanjiro
fun
fast.
seeing Akaza be kind of surprised, like, "Whoa, did you actually just do that?" Then he's like, "Did you just do that again?" Like, what?
What did you think of the fight, Wishley?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Mostly all the things you guys say. I also loved that throughout the fight, each time Tanjiro would attack between like Akaza's fight with Giyu, he was so aware of Tanjiro, and he's like, "This guy is dangerous."
Yeah.
I want to get to that part, but I want to highlight Giyu. Giyu. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut you off for
Go
once.
ahead. Come on.
There was this point in the fight where things got quiet. I don't remember when, but it cracked me up in the theater when somebody was like, "Tanjiro."
Yeah, I remember hearing that too. Just this one person a few rows down going, "Tanjiro."
Yeah.
Was this at the end of the fight? Because I
No,
can't
it was
remember.
like in the middle.
It was
of the
like
fight,
halfway
right?
through.
Yeah.
Like, I think, what was it? Was that when Tanjiro was like starting to focus in and?
Yeah, this was definitely before he like passed out, I think, right?
Was this
Yeah,
before
as-
he did like the perception world scene?
I
where
think
he-
it was close to or a little before that. He did something, and then that guy was just like, "Tanjiro."
Because it was the silent moment in the
Yes.
movie. And it was just so perfectly.
Quiet for a smile. I for a second I thought it was like, who's saying that in the movie? And I was like, wait, that's what
It's the
saying.
guy down 3 rows.
It was so perfect.
I will say there wasn't that lot of, I want to go back to like our theater experience. Like, there wasn't that lot of people like cheering or clapping or just very
I don't
excited.
think it could ever be like Black Butler Book of Atlantic.
I haven't been to as many movies as you guys, and most of mine were when I was a little kid and don't remember a lot of
Yeah.
it. So I would say this is personally the most active a theater has been, and not to an annoying degree where it's just people talking or like on their phones or being obnoxious somehow. This was just everyone like fully focused in, engrossed in the movie, and people like specifically you, but there were other people that were just going like, "Yeah!" Like,
I was so
pumped.
pumped on some of those fights. I was like,
It's-
yes!
Every time I didn't hear anyone else, it was always
It was
you
always
going.
you.
And then there were a few other points where everyone else would go like, "Oh," or "Whoa," but anytime something happened, it was you. But
I want to apologize, but I was just so
yeah.
excited on some of those fights.
I think you fueled the excitement by the end.
Oh, yeah.
whenever something sad happened, we would hear a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. There was one specific thing that happened that I heard everyone in the theater at the same time go like, or "Oh."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that might have been like when Shinobu died. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, like maybe when he,
I
like,
think when she
her.
finally when Doma finally crushed her entire spine.
That might have been it, because I
I think so.
remember hearing like the entire theater go at simultaneously like, and like oh.
It's like one person
Yeah.
down, damn.
Yeah.
Casualty.
And then in the couple silly moments that happened, I usually heard a lot of people in theater laugh at the same time. Like specifically when
Like the
Tanjiro
fun.
and Giyu were like little chibis for a second, and they were like pitter patter as they were walking
Like,
quickly.
we have to be vigilant.
Like, yeah. And,
Like in the Infinity Castle, we have to be diligent.
I heard several people, including you, all go chuckle or give a little laugh to that.
But back to the fight. Giyu, I will say, almost the highlight of that fight is just him being this badass water Hashira, just fighting Akaza. It was some of the coolest fighting I've ever
That's
seen
the thing, is
with
that,
water
like,
breathing.
With their fight, Akaza was really enjoying it. And he was like, "Oh, I want to remember your name." It was fun for him, as opposed to his fight with Tanjiro scared him. I like seeing that difference.
I love Giyu being like, I'm not going to tell you my name.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to kill you. You talk too much. And I don't like, he's like, shut up. I like to focus. I don't talk when I fight. And then like, and of course I love when Tanjiro went like, Master Giyu, and then like Kaza's right beside him. He's like, oh, so that's his name. And I'm like, oh my god, it was creepy. Just really cool. He was very fast. Akaza was freaking fast. But that was part of his ability, which is a huge ability that we find out that he has this compass, this like fighting spirit, killing intent compass that he has on the floor that he lays out to kind of sense danger.
Well, whenever an attack is coming his way, he senses the intent before the attack even happens.
And it takes Tanjiro, about halfway through the fight to figure out what exactly is his ability, because he's like, he keeps landing, he keeps dodging every attack or, blocking it, at least, and it's not doing anything. Every attack that Giyu is making is not doing anything, and either is Tanjiro. So it's like, what is he doing that's exactly wrong? And he figures it out.
So the only time they pull away from a fight in order to go and do a fairly lengthy flashback is that point where Tanjiro is looking back and to a memory of his father.
He does it 10 twice,
days
actually.
Before his dad passed.
He does it twice, though. He does it with Inosuke and then his father, So he does it twice during the fight.
Yeah, he remembers what Inosuke tells him in order to figure out Akaza's ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then he remembers again, remembering his father, at their conversation while he was making a pair of shoes for him. And then 10 days before his father passed, there was a bear attacking people in the area. And his father takes him out in the middle of the night while everyone's sleeping. They go find the bear, and he takes out the bear with what looks like one single strike of just a woodcutter axe.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was two.
It was two.
It was two.
And the bear didn't even see any of it coming. And he figured it out how with all the story that his father told him about the transparent world.
What did you think of the transparent world, Witchley?
It's just Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
yeah, that was really cool. I was just got a little lost in my mind there for a moment.
No worries.
Thinking about the fights.
The fights are really good. Like that whole fight. I love when he goes basically perception. Like he's like in this like transparent world, just everything's slowed down.
Full Goku's Ultra Instinct, where his body just moves of pure instinct and just no unnecessary movements or energy spent, just does exactly enough to do what he needs to do. And there's no killing intent or anything behind it. It's just pure.
It's like he just exhausted the flame that Akaza was noticing. It's I can't sense anything out of this boy.
Completely extinguished any animosity towards him in that moment.
And we're getting pretty close to the end at this point, but I loved him doing it, and then he's behind him, Giyu's seeing him, and he's like, oh, don't just get it done, dude, get it done.
This is his chance. He could do it quickly.
And then what does Tanjiro do?
Akaza, prepare to be decapitated.
And he's like, that was like a funny moment too, where he's like, he blew his cover.
That was one of the moments where everyone laughed in the theater.
That's such a Tanjiro thing.
It is, because he's too honorable. That's something I really like about him, is that he's not gonna stab someone in the back. He wants them to face down his opponent when he strikes them down.
Like a true warrior.
And I really loved how instantaneous that was too. It wasn't like a build up. It was like, your head's cut off now. Your head's cut off now that I know your trick. you know?
He swings back towards him and he just chops his head off. That was a really cool moment.
He tries keeping his head on.
That was the thing that freaked me out the most. Is like he grabbed his head, Akaza's, because at this point he's decapitated, and he holds it down. He's like, no, and then I think that's when I freaked out in the theater, because I think I started the cheer, and it was Giyu throwing his sword into Akaza's head, and it flies off of his body, and I was like, yes!
That's one of the moments where I couldn't tell if I heard anyone else cheer. I only heard Connor.
I think that was the moment where I heard so many people cheer.
Okay, cool. Because I was right next to it, so all I could hear was you going, yeah!
I could definitely hear Connor the loudest.
This makes sense, because we're real close, but I was not sure if anyone else cheered at the moment, because you cheered so loud that I was like, was Connor the only one? If so, I feel bad for him, but that was a cool
I honestly did not feel bad for me just being as emotional and like energetic as I was there, just because I was locked in too. But I was like, yes, this is awesome.
I felt like we had a good crowd for that. I feel like most people were in the same mindset.
I feel like I was the most annoying one there.
You were definitely the loudest.
You were the loudest for sure. I don't think the most annoying.
I think you just made people feel like, yeah, they could actually cheer.
Also, I was the catalyst.
Yeah. Because nobody heard a shush.
No one shushed me.
I never once heard a shush or someone be annoyed.
It wasn't like I was talking. It was more like, yes!
I think
really
the
excited.
anime crowd is probably the funnest crowd to go to movies with, even though they've definitely toned down. Like, I will always remember Black Butler Book of Atlantic being the most fun, loudest crowd.
Yeah, that was probably the most energetic I've ever seen a crowd like that.
Yeah,
except Endgame Avengers. And Avengers Endgame in the theater was insane, by the way.
But you don't get that with a regular crowd,
No.
so that was a special crowd. But
And
like
then,
for anime crowds, when they see a character they love or whatever, like in Book of Atlantic, they would scream and cheer.
Especially when they saw Grell.
Oh yeah, we all came on screen. And I was sort of hoping we would get some of that with this movie.
It was so funny. Because you're talking about Black Butler, I just wanted to mention, when we first saw Doma from behind, I wanted to lean over to you and say, it's the Undertaker from Black Butler. Because from behind, he just looked exactly like him to me.
He's got a little bit of that, yeah. Basically, we're at the home stretch here with Akaza. You know, we beheaded him. It wasn't enough, apparently. He's growing. His head's decapitated. It's faded away, but his body is still there.
Yeah, Tanjiro goes unconscious from all the damage and energy he exerted during the fight.
Giyu's the only one left alive, or left conscious, I mean.
And Akaza's body just keeps going on its own. And so he's fighting to keep it from killing Tanjiro.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get probably the longest cutscene, or the flashback of Akaza, who he was as a kid, with his father. You see him being this thief that is constantly stealing so he could support his dad. I really like seeing that, like he didn't care about the consequences of what he was doing other than trying to make sure his dad was okay.
He was kind of selfishly selfless.
Yes. He really wanted to take care of the people he loved. It was matter to him by any means necessary. Even if they didn't approve of his methods. He
didn't care who he hurt or what he had to do or what happened to himself, as long as he could take care of his sick father. That's all that mattered to him.
He was so great because other characters who are put in that kind of situation, they're always like, it's your fault I couldn't live the way I wanted, it's your fault you were sick, and I had to stay home and take care of you. But he was like, no, like you couldn't control this. You didn't want to be sick. You didn't want to feel like shit every day. You didn't want to be coughing and unable to breathe. And I really loved that.
I really liked that too, because like you were saying, a lot of them blamed others for everything.
Yeah.
And then he for the people he cared about, he never thought ill about them even for a second.
Yeah.
He was always thinking like how could he help them out, and I feel like that's what really turned me around, because instead of being like, oh, I can't wait for this fucker to die, I was just feeling bad for him and like, now I hope he dies soon so that he can finally be free, rather than he needs to die for what he's done. I'm like, this is I think that's the great thing about Demon Slayer in general, is that they're all tragic villains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that most of them, they had like reasons that you could sympathize and understand how they got to that point. Where there are still a few where you're like, wow, scum.
You're still a bastard.
Scum. You're not worthy of being accompanied with the gum I scrape off of my boot.
I do like seeing that Tanjiro is sort of, again, the catalyst on some of these other demons that kind of like open up the floodgates to their past self. Like Tanjiro being like, I think he says a quote in the movie that kind of awakens Akaza, who we find out is Hakuji as his human name, with Kaizo, who is voiced by Channing Tatum, by the way.
Yeah.
Wanted to talk about
It
that.
was worth watching the dub just to see that.
Really cool that
Yeah,
Channing
great.
Tatum got to be.
I was really curious to see how he'd do, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, and then you get to see hints of Kaizo. You get to see Koyuki, who is his daughter, being sick and stuff. I really like seeing that after his whole dad
Yeah,
pretty much
Dad
committing
killed
suicide.
himself.
his dad killed himself when he saw. I think because he saw his son was ruining his life to take
Mhm.
care of him. He
Yeah.
wanted to give him a
Set him
second
free in a
chance.
way.
He left the note saying he wants him to start over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to start over, lead a good life.
Yeah, his
But-
father killed himself to give his son a reason to live a better life and stop being a criminal and ruining his chance at living a happy life. And then and during one of his rampages, I would say, Kaizo is his name.
Yep.
He
Runs into him.
he runs into him. But he came because he thought he heard kid was about to be killed, and then he sees that kid take out 7 full-grown adults, and then he
beats the criminal out of him.
yeah he wants him to be his apprentice now, and he beats him in like a few hits, I think. Just completely overpowers him and then takes him back.
Yeah, I like seeing him being an apprentice to Kaizo, and then Koyuki. He gets to meet Koyuki, take care of Koyuki.
Kaizo becomes like an adoptive father.
I love.
Yeah.
I loved how much he cared for Hakuji now at that point, and he even gives him. I'm speeding up a little bit, but he gives him the dojo. He's like, "Hey, marry my daughter. My daughter fancies you. You."
I like seeing his relationship with the daughter. How he
Koyuki,
took care of her, much like how he did with his father, and you could see that she cares for him too. Obviously, throughout these years
I love
they
that.
spent together.
He was not bothered at all and would take care of her without any complaints. He never even thought it was a pain in the ass.
Even though
or
she
anything.
always said sorry every day,
was
being like,
apologetic.
"I'm sorry, you're taking care of me.
But
you could be doing something
I love
else with your
seeing
life."
that scene where there was going to be fireworks, and she's sick in bed, of course, and she's telling him that he should go see them. And he was like, "Yeah, no, we could see them together next year." And then she was like, "Oh, everybody was always just sort of." Even including herself, thinks that she's not going to make it another year, but he's thinking of the future, and I think he gave her a lot of hope.
As if it was obvious that she would be there.
Right?
I love that scene where they are walking along the riverbank and
Hear the fireworks.
hear the fireworks, see the fireworks, and then he kind of promises her, "I will be your husband." And I was like, "Oh, like."
That was already after we knew they
Yeah,
died
that was
tragically.
after that.
So yeah, the whole reveal that they got poisoned because of another dojo that
The
didn't like.
dojo that's been causing problems for years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they couldn't stand that this other dojo he was inherited the dojo from an old guy he saved, and all of the sword martial arts dojos couldn't stand that someone who used bare hands martial arts had gotten that acclaim and is in their area of noble swordsmanship stuff.
And this is what sort of leads him to slaughter the entire clan, because this is what happens when Kaizo dies from poison from the well, and also
Kaizo
Koyuki.
and Koyuki
Bare-handed.
Yeah.
nonetheless, which-
against a bunch of people with
with
swords.
And
And
that's
that's
when
why I feel like he's such a badass too. Is like, yeah, it was a moment of weakness and it was sad, but it was so cool, and
Yeah.
I couldn't help but be like,
was
yeah,
yeah.
watching him just punch through all these people as just a normal human.
Yeah. I will say one thing we failed to mention during this whole thing, his whole flashback, is that Akaza, even early on in his human years, always wanted to be stronger so he could support his father better. And power, that was what rooted.
That's the
this whole
mindset
thing,
with his
yeah.
demon.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that carried over.
Yes.
Without the reason for gaining power, he just sought power because all of his memories were taken away. He only wanted power to take care of the people he cared about, and now that's the only thing that rooted him into being a demon and progressing towards being stronger.
It's continually gaining power.
Yeah.
I do like him meeting Muzan on the bridge, and Muzan just immediately just shoves his hand in his face. There's nothing there anymore other than his mouth, and it's just like I'm looking for some strong candidates.
I feel like that's another reason to sympathize with Akaza is he didn't agree to become a demon.
Yeah.
He was forcefully turned into one by Muzan.
But at that point, he was so broken, he was like, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, do it, yeah.
But after I had a whole arm shoved through my head, yeah, I'd probably do the same. But
Right?
but everyone else is like, they like were offered and agreed to become a demon. And he was the one that he like immediately was just gonna lash out and hit this guy.
Yeah.
And then he just gets an arm shoved through his head. And he's like, oh fuck, I do whatever you want.
Right, at that
I lost,
point,
I'm weak. You won, it's the same thing.
He was truly a victim of... He
Yeah.
had nothing to live for and didn't care. He was taken advantage of to become the demon that he was.
Now, while all this flashbacks is happening, I really liked how they did the flashbacks. It's like his body is still there at the same time with Tanjiro and Giyu, kind of,
Like a headless chicken.
Yeah, he's a headless chicken at that point, but he's experiencing these vestiges in front of him. He's seeing Kaizo, he's seeing Koyuki, he's seeing his father, and, he's acting and he's moving in a particular way where he's kind of like on his knees or, he's like pleading. So it's like, I love that they keep going back and forth with the flashback. So it's kind of like what is happening right now is what he's experiencing in his mindset or whatever. I thought that was really, really cool and clever. And it's by the end of this, flashback that he kind of comes to the realization that he's the weak one, and he offs himself at that point. He powers up and he starts punching his entire body.
He starts working towards it.
Yeah.
He tries.
He doesn't want to keep fighting anymore. He wants to.
But then you can see his Muzan's impulse starts pulling him back.
Yeah.
And then
it's like a tug of war at that
then
point.
ultimately he finally, his family waiting for him on the other side finally pulls him out of it. And he can finally let go and disintegrate.
Yeah, that scene got me too, where like Kaizo's like, you're my son, like I took you in, and you're a son to me, and you, even though you won't be on the other side, we'll be in there, we'll be with you, and our hearts will be inside of you, and or with you, whatever.
We're giving you our hearts. Keep them in your body.
You will have 3 extra hearts with you at all times. I want to go back a second to something you said, is that Tanjiro is the catalyst to start these memories resurfacing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the reasons I really like Tanjiro. I didn't get to say why I liked the Demon Slayers that
Who's
I
your
liked.
favorite simp?
Yeah, I just said who, you guys explained why, and then I didn't get to.
Yeah, no worries. You can go back to Tanjiro.
But one of the things I really like about Tanjiro is probably why other people find him fairly boring, is that he's such a pure soul that he's such a pure soul that he manages to bring back some of the innocence to the demons as they go, so they all can come to terms and remember who they were before they pass. And that's something I really like about him. He's such a pure, wholesome guy that he even as he's killing demons, he like brings them hope.
Yeah,
I like
brings
that.
back their humanity. I
Brings
really like
back their
that about
humanity.
Tanjiro as well.
I really everything you said is I love about Tanjiro too. He can be ruthless too. Like he will fight. He will put up a fight. He will kill if he needs to. He doesn't want to, but he will.
It's all pretty much mercy killings from him.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how, because obviously, like I think like you've alluded to and maybe hinting at towards like what this finale is going to lead to is like Tanjiro is going to fight Muzan. How is that going to work?
I mean, it's a shonen, It's going to be everyone working together against Monster Kuzan, and then Tanjiro striking the final blow, probably in a one-on-one with normal, human-shaped Muzan. Is what I anticipate, only because of all the other shonens I've seen, is it's always the main character versus the main bad guy at the end, and it's always really satisfying because that's what you're there for. Is you're waiting for this main character to finally stamp out this bad guy at the end.
I'm excited to see how this all ends. I mean, even after this movie, I'm like, they set up so much. I mean, let's rush out to the end now. Obviously, Giyu and Tanjiro, they defeated Akaza. They're kind of just resting now. They're kind of like unconscious at that point. I loved the crow being like, Tanjiro and Giyu, they defeated Upper 3. They're unconscious. I'm just like, yeah, you want to say that any louder?
That's another thing I'm wondering is this next movie just going to be them wiping out the rest of the upper demons, or are they going to like focus on 2 of them and have 1 extra for the fight against Muzan? Or
I'm wondering if they're going to, of course, fight a couple other demons in the next movie, but if they're going to save like maybe higher ranked demon 1 and Muzan for like the final movie or something.
That's what I was wondering, because I feel like a whole movie of only fighting Muzan, it'll feel kind of dragged out.
Yeah.
I feel like they would need 1 extra fight to put in there in order to make it feel a little more complete. Because rather than oversized single boss fight episode.
My feeling is that they're gonna wrap up Doma's and possibly Upper 1 next movie, and maybe set up
maybe 4 is them taking out Upper 4 and Muzan.
I think Muzan they're leaving for the last movie. That's my assumption. I know you said you probably don't want that, but I think that's how they're gonna do it.
Oh, what about Upper 4 then?
Oh yeah, no. So they'll have to kill Upper 4. I feel like once they kill Upper 4, I think everyone can get out of the Infinity Castle. I think that will kick everyone out.
However, if you kill Muzan before killing the others too, you should still be able to get out of the Infinity Castle.
I would imagine so.
That's what I was thinking.
Because like
maybe they'll have a strike team going for Upper 4 while the others are fighting Muzan, and then
to get him out into the sunlight.
Yeah, and then they'll finally kill Upper 4. They'll all warp up into the real world because the Infinity Castle's gone, and then they're fighting as you see the sun starting to peek up over there.
I'm thinking that's how they'll have to do it, because that's the only thing that they've determined is how to kill him. They can't behead him. They've tried. They've already done it. They have to kill him by direct sunlight.
I really feel like direct sunlight isn't the way he's gonna go, though.
No.
I feel like there's gonna be one of them false things where they're like, we got him, he's in the sun, and he's like starting to burn, and then he does some bullshit where he will survive, and then they're desperately fighting like, what the fuck are we gonna do now?
Weird little thought, what if he turns human by that point?
Ooh, that would be interesting.
That he's still not dead in the sunlight, and then there's
that's an interesting debacle.
Right?
I also feel like they're not gonna just leave Nezuko sleeping this whole movie trilogy.
No.
Recovering with trying to work through the demon vaccine that they gave her. Is something's gonna happen where they'll somehow spot her and pull her into the castle, or when they come up into the real world, he'll find her or something, and it's going to be tense. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I really doubt they're just gonna leave Nezuko alone this whole time.
Yeah, they gave so many cool fight scenes with Nezuko in the past arcs. Like Entertainment District was my favorite with her.
Really good.
I think you're right. She has to come back into the fold and maybe
I don't even think she's gonna fight. I think her being turned back into a human, I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. If they leave her alone till the very end, I feel like she'll at least show up being a human again, and like cry out to Tanjiro while he's fighting Muzan and give him like that boost he needed, seeing that his sister is alive and a human again, and then he'll like do his final big attack on Muzan that helps finishing him off.
Maybe so. There's gonna be a lot more casualties going forward because we only got kind of one big one with at least the Demon Corps, and then obviously we just got Akaza and And Zenitsu's other successor, I'm trying to remember the name right now.
Wouldn't that be a cool thing?
Yeah.
As if it was all the normal demon slayers that go and take out Upper Four, while all the Hashira are fighting, the remaining Hashira are fighting Muzan.
That would
be
be
cool.
amazing.
I think that would be
That
fun.
would be really fun.
If you just see all these guys running and like doing, doing, doing as they're all getting thrown around, while this whole horde of demon slayers is just rushing towards where Upper Four is. And then I just forgot his name. Murata. Then Murata's the one that gets the final hit in on
That would
Upper
be cool.
Four.
That would be amazing.
Because I really like them showing the Demon Corps, and I know we talked about it already, but I love seeing the Demon Corps actually put up a fight.
Yeah.
They're not just, like you said, red shirts. I mean, there definitely are red shirts, but I'm like, I just love seeing them fighting. And
I'm
like,
just impressed we didn't see a single one die in the movie.
Right, because if this was Star Trek, they'd all be dead by now.
If this were any other anime at this level that we would have seen, they would have been there just to be the cannon fodder you see getting slashed through by demons in the
like
background.
they were nothing. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we lost a Hashira before we lost one of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure we lost people, we just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they weren't focusing on that, but
It's interesting that the only person who didn't attend the Hashira training is the only one who's died so far.
Indeed.
weird. Well,
Okay, now that we have, is that all you wanted to say about the movie so far?
yeah, did we have
Now
anything else
that
for that?
we've talked about the whole movie and discussed the fight scenes and whatnot, do you still have the same opinion on what your favorite fight scene is?
I still think the Zenitsu fight was like the most satisfying, flashy, just kind of almost constant, just back and forth fighting. Like, I still really love the Tanjiro and Giyu against Akaza fight, but they also have the longest stretches of taking you out of the fight before finishing it off or continuing it, which I still love those moments and I've loved seeing them, but it does, to me, take away from the fight a little bit, having it broken up so much with these long stretches of flashback before getting back to it and finishing it up.
Yeah, I think I still like Akaza's, just because, like you said, the Giyu fight with him was amazing. I loved when Tanjiro tagged out and helped a bit, and then, and then I liked when they weren't like always like encroaching on one another, like Giyu and Tanjiro. It was kind of like separate mostly. It was like, Akaza would fight Giyu, and then he would go back to Tanjiro, and then they would have like a big fight, and then Giyu showed up when something was dire, like vice versa. I just thought it was really nice and cool. And then Tanjiro learning the fight. Yeah, I agree. The flashbacks kind of detract from the action for a moment.
It doesn't detract from the story, but it does detract from the action because it pulls you out of it, and then it's long enough that you've cooled down. When it gets back, it's just like, oh shit, that's cool.
Especially with the Akaza flashback, like they were still fighting him technically, but he was still going. This was all in his mind and what was going on in his headspace as he was just standing still with a decapitated head. So, I agree. But there's just the emotion really did help with that fight by the end, and it kind of solidified it to me as like that was the best fight.
It's my second favorite, and it's close. But
I love the Zenitsu fight, like you said. It was very fast, but like I wanted more emotional stuff with that. Like you said, they
could have made it better by bringing stuff in sooner. But I just think it's very satisfying seeing my least favorite character finally do something. Like, actually do something instead of his unconscious body doing stuff.
So you turn around on Zenitsu as, like, probably one of your favorites now?
I don't know if he's one of my favorites, but I'm glad he's finally cool and competent.
It'd be cool.
And it was always satisfying when he'd pull up his thunderclap and flash, but this one was really nice.
I'm really interested to see now going forward, since obviously he's a little wounded, but he could still fight.
He's a lot wounded.
I'm wondering how his fight scenes are going to be now that he's kind of like, he's locked in, he's avenged his master.
I feel like he'll have one more fight at most.
I feel like he'll help with the Muzan fight in some way or another.
He's either going to help against Muzan directly, or he'll help against Upper Four. But he's got some recovering to do first. everyone's fucked up, and there's no time for breaks. So they're
look,
gonna pull out some wacky shit where they're gonna have an equivalent of a senzu bean from Dragon Ball, which just fully recovers whoever eats it.
Honestly, I'm having a hard time between the three because, like, for one, with Tanjiro, we always see how amazing he is and how he's able to better himself in the fight and overcome his challenges.
He adapts.
He adapts so
adapts.
quickly.
Yeah,
It's so great.
I love that about him, and that's what makes his fights so amazing. I think with Zenitsu, we finally see more depth with him in that, and like how amazing he can be when he applies himself to it, even if it's born out of tragedy. And the Shinobu fight was, I thought, beautiful. Like, you know, she knows she's not strong enough to like behead a demon, but she still gave it her all.
I like that, but like I
it
feel
was
like
tragic and beautiful.
it was very tragical and beautiful. I like that.
I feel like Shinobu's fight isn't over yet.
Oh
but
yeah, I agree.
That's what I was trying to get to too. I feel like the Doma fight is only half of that because obviously we're seeing Kanai and maybe possibly more people showing up for that fight. So it kind of feels not really a full fight, you know?
Shinobu,
like a finished
in
fight.
general, I feel like she still has a little thing up her sleeve, even though, you know, having been devoured. But like what we were talking about earlier, I can't wait to see how that's going to play out.
Me
But
too.
after that, you sort of feel like Shinobu's fight is over, you know?
Mhm.
But I feel like there's going to be a little more there at play.
I can't wait
to see it.
I-
Because
that-
she went on about like how she could at least take out one demon, and she could save so many lives. And I feel like she's still going to achieve that somehow.
But overall, we really love this. Is this the best Demon Slayer's ever been?
I feel like it is close to or up there with Entertainment District for me.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That's our little special podcast for Infinity Castle. Thank you, actually, for being here, and Donut for joining us. Sorry we didn't have Migi here, but we'll have to do a little segment with her later in a different
When
podcast.
she
to
does
kind of
get
talk
to see
about
it.
So we'll talk about it again. But Donut, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It was really fun to have you back another time after JoJo to do this. So hopefully we can do more in the future with you.
Yeah, I'd like to join you after the Chainsaw Man movie if you do one on that.
I think
yeah, we're totally gonna talk about that one.
I would definitely love to do the Rize arc one with you. So if that happens, you'll be here.
And I'm sure there'll be more JoJo in the future. And I'm
That's
sure there'll be other shows that I watch and join you guys on. Like Jujutsu Kaisen. I will
Yeah.
gladly join you on that when the new
Calling
season
game.
comes out.
I'm
We'll
excited
have you
for them.
join us for the JJ game.
Excellent.
That'll be great. But that was it for Infinity Castle review. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Check us out over on Spotify if you haven't already. Let us know if you watched the movie. What do you guys think of Demon Slayer Infinity
What was
Castle?
your favorite fight?
What's your favorite arc? Who's your favorite demon? Who's your favorite Demon Slayer? Any of that.
Who's your favorite Hashira?
Hashira, yeah. I could have had a different section for that too. Should have, but
I thought that was one of the sections. That was one of the only ones I prepared for that you didn't actually do.
I did Demon Core because like that's Hashira or the Demon Core.
That's
So-
just all characters.
and the demons. I did the demons separately. You had to do both. Anyway, well, we'll see you guys for the next one. And that's a podcast.
Ja, mate.